Hey everybody, it is Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and today I'm going to show you how you can paint this gorgeous, adorable cow with a flower crown. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hello.
He is going to be the disembodied voice that you hear, but he has a very important job, the man behind the green curtain, no irony intended.
It's just
Um,
green. Ignore
he's,
me.
don't ignore him.
Please
Listen to
ignore
him,
me.
because he's going to make sure your questions and stuff get captured. He's
Okay.
going to make sure that the camera is pointing at the techniques that I'm demonstrating, the colors that I'm mixing. I break down these lessons for new artists. So I break down every color mix, every technique. I talk a lot about not only the technique, but the mindset and everything that you need to be in to succeed. There's a lot of resources. If you're here during the live stream and you're chatting in real time, be sure to put your questions all in caps because that will help the moderators find them and make sure that you get answered. I will try to be around to answer those. If you're here on replay, put the questions in. I think the best place after the stream is over is on YouTube. After the stream in the comments section, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, I think that's the best because I check that easily every day. Um, the other thing is that there's mini books, John.
Yes.
So this will have a matching written out step-by-step mini book that's going to match a series of timestamps.
Mm-hmm.
So during the video, after the video, every chapter step will be timestamped. Each step will have the materials in that step and the colors we're going to be using in that step. Because that's the number one question I get asked all the time. What colors are in this step? What brushes am I using? So we're going to have that there. It's going to match what's down there, which is going to match the mini book. And you can download the mini book for free. Right. So yeah, we're trying to get to a place where, we print those for you guys and you can purchase them for us, but we're always going to have those available for you to be able to just download because they really help. Materials screen is coming up to tell you everything that you're going to need for this lesson. And then, of course, you've got me. I'm included in the materials. Art Sherpa, who guides you through. You really can paint this adorable cow. If you saw this and you were like, I just have to paint this, you can do this. Traceables, all of that free on the website. Deep breath, get your paint, get your brushes, come look and see what colors we're going to be using, and I'm going to show you how to paint this. In the first step, we're going to do wishes and sketch in. Now, this would be the moment you would use the traceable if you would prefer to use that method of getting the design on the canvas, and that's provided for free on the website. If ever you're looking for traceable, the quickest way to go there is go to the traceables tab on the website, open it up, and use the search bar to find the topic that we're painting today. Or you can go to the video tab or the calendar to find the video page where that's at.
Mm.
But I'm going to show you how to draw this in today, just in case you don't want to use the traceable. First, though, let's put some wishes out there. It's been a minute since we've done wishes, John.
All right. Let's
All
get
right.
wishes.
I would like to personally put a wish out there that Vicky, who's been away for a little while from painting, who's feeling kind of bad about it, is kind to herself and realizes that we're always here. The door is always open. The light is always on. The paint is always on the palette, and we're happy to have her back anytime. Anne and Shannon, and I know Anne is on this wish all the time, but Shannon came in on it too, which is just that people could be more loving and more kind right now in the world, and I always agree with that. Michelle had a sweet wish for her sister-in-law, who's going through some stuff that, as she goes through that she has strength for it and no pain. Lily wishes for strength to stop smoking and her children to make good life choices. I also wish for that, Lily. Katharina wishes that the world sees treatment for cancer and healing for cancer. St. Jude shares your wish, and I think they're going to get there. Crystal wishes for healing and health, and Becca, job for her dad, energy for herself, and true love to flow into her life. All right, the wishes, John. How'd you
All
like them?
right. I love them.
I've been missing them. Now I'm going to use this brush. This is a number 4. This is number 8 cat's tongue. You could just use round or any brush you feel comfortable drawing or sketching with. It's just the brush you feel you have a good amount of control on. I'm going to let's take our blue, our ultramarine blue, and just real quick, just in case you don't know what these paints are, phthalo green, burnt sienna, Mars black, titanium white. This is the yellow ochre. We haven't seen yellow ochre for a minute. Quinacridone magenta, cad red medium, and cad yellow. If you don't want to use the yellow ochre, it's okay not to. You could just use the Naples yellow light that we have in our set. All right. So if you imagine that this is the center point of our surface, I'm going to come down and in, and he's about, the little nose is about four of my fingers wide. I'm going to come over and make a little arc up. Then we're going to go in and in.
Ah,
Kind of that neat little shape there. Swoopy sweep,
swoopy, swoopy.
swoopy swoop. I'm going to come up and bow out. Not too long. It's another little forefinger, and then slightly shorter, maybe a finger less, another little bow. And then the eye, I like to come out and be big. Goes the opposite curve direction. Come in about a finger. That lash is, the blue lash is going to go away. Now, right above the eye, I'm going to sweep down to the ear, and the ear will come out fairly large on the surface, even though I know I'm going to have flowers and all kinds of things covering that. And to place the body, I'm going to come almost right off the eye, down through that center mark, out and off the canvas. And then right in the middle of the jaw, I'm going to bring a little line down, and we'll apply a belly there. So that's kind of the in perspective little body of the cow. Now, cow noses, I like to come in and just sort of make a number 6. See that little swirl? That's just going to help me know where the cow nose is. So I'll show that to you again. I'm on the toe, and I just come in and make a number 6. So it's just a trick for cow noses if you've ever had trouble with those.
It's a nice nose.
It's a nice nose. I'm going to make a little line here in the center so I know where the little bridge in the nose is. I'm going to go bump, bump, and around this and down. And then, as you know, kind of come up the center of the cow. And I'll tell myself where my little cow look is by making this very light little brush sketch. See how I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
It's a very light little brush sketch. But I think that that's going to be an important, playful thing to do later. So I'm going to add that in there. And just lastly, but definitely not least, I'll come up and finish the white blaze. So inside here will be white, and then outside there will be black, and then we'll do the different patterning, and the ear will be black. So it'll be a very nice black and white cow. So wishes, and we sketched it in, and we did it with a number 8, and you guys are doing great. I love being at the table because it's such a comfortable day for me. Love it. All right, John.
Yep.
You don't have to dry it or anything, guys. You can if you're worried about smearing your lines, but other than that, I think we should just go to the next step. So I'm going to put in my little background here. I want it to be kind of loose and imply kind of a distant sky background, but I don't want to have to like specifically do clouds. But since I've done wishes with my watercolor pencil, at first I'm going to come in and I'm going to put those into the universe, right? Those nice wishes, and then I'll come back. Now I picked a color that would be okay with my painting. I made a point of picking a color that wouldn't like be red against where I'm going to be doing blue or something, make a purple. And I like the watercolor pencils. You can use chalk or just go on the back if you want to do wishes for yourself. First thing I'm going to do, this is a 3/4 inch angle brush. You could use a 1/2 inch angle brush. It's kind of like a medium angle brush. You know, too large is kind of in that range. 3/4 inch. I'm going to load it up. It doesn't have to be exactly the size. I don't want you guys to stress on things like, oh, it's got to be that size. It's just a brush, and we're going to paint with it. And I'm going to just brush out, interestingly enough, some white. Come around the edges some, come around the ear. And the reason is I want a very light background. And by painting it in white first, even before I add my light color, it will help keep this area light. And because it's wet, it will help me do a wet into wet method of painting. So this is all wet with white. And then I'm going to take a smidge of my ultramarine. And you can see that's quite a light color, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And just very lightly brush around a little of that blue. What a light color.
Yeah.
I can come in with just a little bit of darker blue here and there. And again, we're just implying this background. So I'm just randomizing my brush. You can see I brush down and across, and I'm just trying to make little marks that don't really pull the eye. And the reason that I do this very, very light sky is so that we get a lot of contrast on the cow to the blue color. I think it's just, it'll look really nice.
Oh yeah.
You know, you can always come back with just some white if you want to like be like, oh, it's like a little cloud. You don't have to do this part, but it's like a little thing I can do where I just go, oh, it's a little white here. Sort of an abstracted sky in the background, just very loose and light and not particular anything. Now, on this step, I do think it's a good idea to dry before what you do next. That way, you're not dragging wet paint. We're not going to be doing a wet into wet blending thing here, and letting this dry and be stable will probably keep the mess from getting on your canvas. So
Mm-hmm.
when we come back, I'm going to dry mine and you dry yours, and then through the magic of video, it won't take very long. Okay? So I want to kind of block in or begin the painting process on the cow or start putting color on. I'll start with my number 8 cat's tongue again. And I'm going to grab a little of my white over here and add just a smidge of my yellow ochre to it. So it's quite light. And I'm going to begin painting in the areas of the cow's fur that are white.
Yeah. Give it the base coat.
Give it that base coat. And it's just kind of a off-white with this little yellow here, you know. I'm around here. And I know I'm going to be doing that little cow lick. So it's even okay if it shows through.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I sketch in with paint just so that you guys can see what's going on. So it's always okay for you guys to sketch in with chalk.
It helps.
It can help you have that go. See, I grabbed a little more yellow ochre on the toe of my brush. Down the middle. Get a little more white going. It's kind of fun. And then again, definitely on the side. Now there's a couple white spots on the cow, so sometimes it's nice to get those in now. I'm going to come down on the back where there was some white. Going down the belly. And get a little more. I like the yellow ochre and white because especially on this style of kind of painting, it really helps things look just like fur.
Huh.
You'll see it. And it also gives you room to add a little bit of highlight when you want to. And cows tend to be a little bit dirty.
Mm.
So all kinds of wonderful reasons. Now I'm going to come here and get my black. And I might even go ahead and get a little of my ultramarine blue involved. Let's kind of come here to the belly. I'm just coming in on the tip of my brush, and I'm going to add, like, just on the toe and kind of making a regular little shape that's like, oh, this is the little black spot on the belly. And because it was going into the wet, it did a nice little blend thing.
Oh.
There's a little bit of a mark there.
A mark here, mark
A
there.
mark here, a mark there, a mark everywhere.
Turn around and Marky Mark is everywhere.
Well, you know, seriously, Marky Mark is everywhere. Them Wahlbergs.
You're like,
All right.
what? What happened?
What?
You
What
just
happened?
turned
What?
around and you're like, what? What happened? Marky Mark's like, I had a career, yo.
I'm going to come off here. And I maybe want this one to be a little more gray. Right here. Maybe a little bit kind of grayed. Come in with a little bit of white. So you see I can make little detailing. It doesn't take too much. It's just a little cow, right? Let's come here and go around the eye. And I'm going to come back and you'll notice that I sort of brush back into this white fur. And it gives that little feathering that you might want. to make it seem like there's a little kind of fur inner. You could definitely use a grass comb or any of those fun brushes I've been introducing for this. Absolutely, you could.
Yeah.
And that would be just fine. No, I gave her some cheekbones there. You will have cheekbones. The eyes I like to do a little more detailed, so I'll probably give myself a second on that. Because I want to spend some time putting some eye love in there. And we know we're going to have flowers up here, so there's no point in getting too detailed where I know I'm going to put flowers right over it. And one of the things here is I might come off the ear, look, and feather that stroke. See how I pull that out and feather that?
Yeah.
So that can be a little hard to execute, so we'll look at that again. That's just really about knowing that the edge of these bristles will, if I press and flick, kind of come apart. You've got to get to know your own brush. Every brush has sort of a slightly different threshold in which it will do that. And so it's about knowing your brush. I'm going to come and feather the other side. You can see I'm just trying to give it fuzzy ears.
I think
Fuzzy
that
cow ears.
cows enjoy the ears.
Do you think so?
Yes.
Now
All
I'm
the
going to
cows
come and
I've
get a
ever
little bit
met.
of light gray. Wait, one last thing.
Okay.
Get a little light gray and come along the face just to kind of pull those little areas apart a bit. If I do that, I might make that other spot darker.
Oh.
Sometimes I'll look at something and be like, you come here, you darken up. There we go. Just kind of roughed in.
Yeah.
It's a rough cow. All right. So that's really all you've got to do on this step. You're just kind of getting those basics in at the beginning, and you can totally do this. Things to not freak out about is this edge technique here. Come on. If you've never tried it before, just take out your brushes, get a scratch piece of paper, and see which one gives you the best fur flick.
Huh.
Right? You don't have to. If you have my cat's tongue, you can practice the technique using exactly that brush because you know it will do it because you have that one. But if I could do it with an angle, I could do it with any brush. So just see where your fur flick is. Master it. The fur flick. Deep breath. Breathe out. Come back. Oh, be sure and dry. When we come back, we will do the next layer. So I'm going to work on the nose a little bit. I really love cow noses. I'm going to do another angle brush. It's slightly smaller than this one. You could do it all with one angle brush. I'm just indulging myself.
Indulge away.
I indulge myself sometimes. I'm going to pull a little of my yellow ochre out and add some of my quinacridone magenta into that. All right. Maybe even a little cad yellow. And then white. And what we're trying to make is this sort of very bright nose. Look at that. There we go. So it was the yellow ochre, quinacridone magenta, some cad yellow, and we're just trying to create that nice little bright pink nose color. I'm going to put a little more yellow into it. There we go. They got that crazy little nose. Make sure that you are painting your edges enough, at least, that it seems like the painting isn't stopped at the edge. And I'm just doing the one tone at first, even though I definitely have different values. I'll go ahead and flick back like we were talking about. You can always do that to create that fur effect, and it definitely does. And I can still see my little nostril a bit. I can always go right into my black in here.
Ooh.
And just make sure I'm talking about that cow nose some. Might come on the edge of my brush. Sometimes I come on the corner if I want to blend. And this works when my paint is still wet. Doesn't work as great when it's dry. Blending on acrylic works best when your paint is wet. Maybe a little more yellow ochre, cad yellow mix. I love this mix together. We haven't done yellow ochre in a while.
Hmm. The lonely ochre.
We have not. Maybe a little more yellow there. And then I'll wipe out on a paper towel because I want to control the pigment. And I'll come make a very light color.
Ooh,
Ooh, let's get a little cad red into it. Oh, we're getting complicated. But it's nice, isn't it?
it is.
So right here. A little bit lighter. Kind of trying to give this nose some shape. A little more white.
Cutie cutie nose.
Kind of like lighten under the nose. We're just making the nose cute. You can always shade your nose tones, right, with a little bit of black to make it seem a little shadowed. See?
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot though. It's not a lot of black. And I'm just using the brush and I'm being pretty rough with the not doing really smooth uh brush strokes. Not worried about that. I got all my little colors involved on this nose.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes. You'll be like, all the
Multicolored
colors need to
nose.
get involved.
Yeah.
I get a little more white and yellow up here. The white helps cover the paint I had underneath, so I've got to be a little more up here than maybe you need to be because of that. I love yellow ochre and cad red. It's one of my favorites. Just again, playing with the white here. So it's just about that. Let's look back at that. I think we're good there.
It's a very nice nose.
Look, we got a little cow nose. Just pretty as you please. I might blend a little bit here. And go a little darker with the black. See, there's little touches you look at something from a distance and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's real nice.
Yeah.
It's just about playing with that value and kind of getting that going. All right. That's a good step. When we come back, I'll show you the next thing we're going to do. So I want to add a little more detailing around the body just to make the cow look a little bit better. And I'll go ahead and keep on with my 1/2 inch angle. I'm going to get a little black and I'm going to come up into the ear and just sort of deepen that. On my painting, my black had lightened a little bit and I definitely want to have some depth there.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to come around wherever I had wanted depth, but it kind of had lightened up on me. I'm going to come back and give some depth. And that'll happen. Color shift is real. You know, clean up lines and things like that is always a good idea. Add a little more water to my brush to improve flow. Something we're always playing with as an artist, you know, is trying to get that correct flow. Now, when I have that where I want it, I'm going to go ahead and add some white into that mix and get kind of add a little blue into it as well. Really paint gray that up, right? Like almost a pains there. And we're going to come along and go over this with the fur. You know, maybe a little bit out here. And then some under, but not too much because I want to leave some depth in the ear. I'm going to get into more white. And I'm very lightly going to brush. And you can see the way I'm brushing kind of implies that fur out there. If you're having a hard time, you can go through hair by hair. And that's okay. I'm just making that little shape. I'm going to brush up a little bit right here, kind of creating that little shape right there along the jawline. Little highlights, like you like to do. I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to rinse out super thoroughly. I'm going to come into my white. And I'm going to just make sure, oops, got into the gray a little bit. That's all right. That'll happen. I'll just come back with a damp brush and kind of work that out.
Ah, it just adds some extra fur flavor.
It really does, but that'll happen to you sometimes. An area you think is dry will be wet and you'll boo boo an area. Just be calm. You're okay. I'm going to go ahead and kind of bring some white around on this little cowlick to exaggerate that a little.
Oh yeah.
Maybe a little bit of kind of white there on that part of the nose and this part a bit, sort of help it seem like there's a bit of a divot. If you're losing your values, you can always come back, right, with your yellow ochre and play with that. Let's see how we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Come and get some more white. Not making everything, completely perfect. Just adding that second layer of paint. Sometimes a second layer of paint is a big deal.
It is.
If you're painting with paints that are in a student set, it can be a huge deal. I'm going to come along here and add a little bit of white along that nose. You can see. And then I'm also going to come on the nose and add a little bit. I'm using the corner of this brush. Can you guys see I'm using the corner of the brush? A little bit of a white reflection coming across the nose. It gets a little bit more tapered as it comes out. And then maybe highlight above the nose. Look at that. All right, let's zoom
Yeah.
out. He's going to look real cute. So we're just painting him cute and sweet and loose. That's that step. That's all you've got to do for there. He just gets better looking and better looking. Try to make sure you keep this random. It's like their noses are really bumpy and the light hits it. It's never just a smooth, slick shine. It's always a bumpy shine because there's little ridges of highlights. I don't know if you need to know that much about a cow's nose. Also, if you really love art, you should sit and stare at cows' noses because, got to study things as artists, which means just stare at things awkwardly and intensely for long periods of time, thinking about them, and also practicing and sketching and painting, which we're doing now. So hopefully you'll join me for that. All right, when we come back, I'll show you the next step. So he looks pretty cute.
He looks very cute.
He's very cute, but we gotta get his eyes. So I'm gonna get a number 4 round. This is for my own Art Sherpa line, but these may be going. Well, these are going out of stock. I think you can still find them in certain locations. But just any round, small round, like medium small round, right? Like with a good point is all you're looking for acrylic. So don't feel pressure. I'm gonna take yellow ochre and actually let's do yellow ochre and cad red. I think I'm gonna like that better. Yellow ochre and cad red. I love their mix.
Nice.
They're just a good mix, and I'm just gonna go there. And I'm gonna start, believe it or not, coming in the corner of my eye here with this mix. Seems crazy.
Gives the eye the base color.
Well, and we're gonna add a bunch of white to it, but the white is gonna like show some of that through, and then you're gonna be like, oh, it's so cool. And I'm gonna grab some black. And come in and sort of shape the ball of the eye. And so now we kind of see that. I'm going to get into that Payne's Gray, which is the ultramarine blue and Mars black and titanium white. And then come up here, get a little more white into that mix. And do a little bit of that right there too. I'm going to get a little of the blue and black again. And maybe come here. Now, we're going to dry in the middle of the step. But it's not a new step. We just need to dry so that we can layer our eye well. So dry here, and then through the magic of video, it won't take very long, but however long yours takes to dry, I'm hitting it does.
Just try it.
Awkward.
Yeah.
Socially awkward instructions. Woo! All right. You guys are doing great. I'm doing great. We're doing great. I'll see you right back with his eye dry. So it isn't a big dry I was going for here. A couple of things were factoring in on that. One is that my brush was pulling too much water today, or I just had not managed my water in the brush. I'm getting more of my Payne's gray. I'm adding some white to it. And that meant that I was going to have to dry the eye as well, because the paint just wasn't layering in the way that I wanted. I'm going to add a little reflective highlight here. And again,
It's got to be said.
huh?
It has to be said.
What has to be said?
Ready layer cow.
Ready layer cow. Now I want to get some white, and I might just you can see I kind of kissed some quinacridone magenta into it. You don't have to kiss quinacridone magenta into it, but I just want to, and I'm gonna come in here and paint a little bit of that inner corner white.
Oh, that makes quite a.
It's just a weird little thing. I like to do it. I like to
So
do it.
The cow's peeking. What
Peekins.
you doing?
What you doing? That's what cows do, though. They peek.
Is that delicious? Can I? Is there a bite for me, maybe?
There's always a bite for the cow.
Will you rub my ear, please?
Now, I'm going to come to the eye here and kind of come straight out and a little bit down. It's sort of interesting on cow lashes. They're not like, not like them human lashes. Mm-mm. No, they're not like them human lashes at all. I'm going to come in and get a little bit of my white.
Now, for all the people who are cow keepers, feel
Mm-hmm.
free to send us photos of your cow eyes, because, like, you can post them in the links in the Facebook group.
In the Facebook group.
Yep,
I
can't
wish
do it in YouTube.
I wish you can post them on Facebook if you're watching from Facebook. You can
Yep.
do it in the comments of this video. Or you can come into the group. If you're on YouTube, you can also share on Instagram and Pinterest and TikTok and Twitter.
I would like to see the cow eyelashes.
I'm going to get a little bit of blue over here and some white. Kind of like a reflection of the sky. Coming from the eye, kind of coming over. You guys see that?
Ooh, yeah.
And then a little bit. On that outside. It's just a touch, touches. Touchy touch. I can come in on the toe of my brush, and what I'm doing is I'm wiping my brush on my towel again to control that water. And then want to make sure that there's a nice dark sliver. And the little wet reflection in the upper lid was a little thick, so I'm going to thin that down, as you do. Just sort of refining those, that's what we do sometimes. We have that good there. One more highlight, I think, on the eye up top. In this part of the little lids. Maybe a little hinted one. And then let's grab some just white. And add that there. All right, let's get back and see how our eye looks. Oh, our eye looks perfect. It's
really
just a
does.
cow
It's
eye.
like
It's such a
perfect
good
cow
eye. I'm all about the eyes. If you paint with me any amount of time, you will notice that my eye classes are intense. They're intense because the eyes are the window to the soul, and I'm obsessed with them. I'm like, I've done a lot of eye studies. I do a lot of eye studies. I really look at eyes and do practice paintings and practice drawings and think about them a lot. So that's probably where that comes from. All right, so that's all we've got to do for that step. When we come back, I'll show you what you're going to do next. so cute. And you may just be real happy right here, and that's okay. Like if you're like, I just want a cow and nothing but the cow, right? This would be a good place for you guys to stop and sign. But if you're like me, you got to do yazification, as my eldest likes to say. We got to yazify it. So, oh wait, I just ruined that whole trend on TikTok. Sorry, TikTok. Because when anyone my age notices something, then it's over on TikTok. But I don't care. Because like,
It's over.
it's still fun for me. Do what they want to do. I'm going to do this with my 1/2 inch angle brush today. And we're going to start out by putting in some green leaves because I'm going to want to do a crown. And the crown's going to kind of come across here over the bridge of the nose. I want to be careful around the eye. I don't want to take out that detailing. And I might have some petals fly away later. But I'm going to start this color with a little bit of phthalo green and burnt sienna in my 1/2 inch angle. I love a 1/2 inch angle brush.
Good
Make a
brush.
very dark green. And let's come here and sort of press down and make a little leaf. I'm going to zipper these in. That's like a little sprig coming down the eye. Now I will, come back with very light greens, but I like to build up on a base of deep green. I really do. And so I'm just pulling this brush, and that's how I'm going to create these little leaves, these little zippered leaves. That's the dark green. When I want to come into some lighter green, I'm just going to add some yellow to my burnt sienna and my phthalo green mix. This is one of my very favorite green mixes. I do this one a lot. A lot of people start with a less bright green than phthalo green. But if I don't want to have a million greens on my palette, I like to start with phthalo green. That way I can always tone it back. But it's very hard to make something that is not vibrant. It's hard to vibrant it up, but it's easy to tone it down.
Is that how it works?
I feel like that's how it works, but we'll see if that's actually how it works. I might do some of these might be another layer of green. I don't want to take out all my cowlick. Let's come over into the sky. The sky.
More green.
Yeah, these are just a little thought of green that's there. And then I might come just get like a lot of yellow. Yeah, but I've got pigment on my brush, so it makes this nice kind of light one. And I'm going to come in and get some white. And this makes a very light green.
Oh,
That's just some value, right? Some interesting values. I like green. And the eye's sort of peeking out. And already I love it with the green. But I am going to want to dry this before the next step. Let's call this a step.
okay.
Did this with a 1/2 inch angle. You can do leaf strokes with a round brush. You can do them with a bright. You can do them with a cat's tongue. Really, it's just about understanding how to press and release your brush to get that stroke. Good thing to practice. When we come back with our surface dry, because we want our flowers to be vibrant. I'll show you how to put the flowers on. Okay, so this is gorgeous. I love it. You love it. We love it. Let's
It
add
is
some flowers
loved.
to it. Do you love it?
It is loved.
It is loved. I'm going to take Cad Red and Quinacridone Magenta together, and I'm kind of just going to brighten it up. Kind of get that tomato rose that I love so much. I'm so into. And I'm using my 1/2 inch angle brush again. And I'm going to come here and put maybe like right here some little pulled strokes like this. These are sort of in the distance. And you can see I kind of pull them down. Then I'm going to go and add a little white to it, maybe a little yellow. I'm here. I'm just adding little pulling strokes. I'm going to come back with my red. These are little flowers. Maybe they're a little darker there at the edge. They're messy. They're unknown flowers, man. I'm going to put in a couple little pulls here. These are just some red spots. And then I'm going to pull that down. It can be hard coming off the edge. This is a little flower that's tucked away. And we have to come back with another layer of green to really get this. So don't feel like we're not going to get it. We are. Add a little yellow to that. And come into my red. Maybe zipper pull some of those as well. These are just little blooms. We just want to get these all off the surface. I'm just grabbing pink and red, and I'll turn the canvas just so I have a better angle. You can see I'm just getting different little angles.
Go there. Here you go.
Different little angles. Now, much like before, I will want to dry and then do the next part.
Just a mid-dry.
Maybe, because, sometimes in layering stuff like this, a little dry goes a long way. But what I want to do is I don't want to have areas that are empty, right? Especially when I'm trying to fill in a big bouquet. So I might come here. I'm going to pull that little petal in. It's hard to do little loose flowers if you have real specific flowers in mind. Mm-hmm. And come here on my toe and just do little dots. But what I would highly suggest is that we do dry. Actually, we can dry and even call that a step, so you guys can get here and really observe these brush strokes on the step stage and think about how it's okay to have imperfect blooms, especially when they're all pulled together in a crown like this. Like right now, this is pretty cute.
It is.
But we'll come back and we'll finish it off where it's like, wow, that's super cute. A lot of times when I do flowers like this, and I'll paint chairs or walls or all kinds of things, what it is about getting these very organic strokes in and then coming back with a brush like my round here and creating details. So at first I'm going to get things wet, and I'm going to go ahead and get my yellow, and I might loosely mix it with some white. I want it to be bright. I don't want the brush to be very wet, so I'm controlling the moisture. And I'm going to come to this big first flower. And you'll notice I have my dark strokes here, a space, and then my other strokes. And I'm going to touch little bits of yellow coming out of that flower. You see that? Where it's like there's a little bit of yellow in that center.
Mm-hmm. It's cool.
And come in and maybe do a similar sort of yellow right there. Not bad. All right, little bits of yellow. Now I'm going to come over here and go ahead and get into my white. I want a very light color. And I'm thinning with water because I've been painting for a minute. And sometimes when you've been painting for a minute, your paint will start to skin. And you have to kind of re-get it to lighten up. Now I've added a little yellow and a little quinacridone. Maybe a little more yellow here. I'm just trying to create another layer into the flower. Get some pink going. I'm just looking at these and saying, how can I create little details to help refine it? Maybe a little yellow here. Doesn't look bad. We're
Not
just
at
adding
all.
a little detail. Little detail. Let's get a little of this cad yellow and cad red together, quite orange. Maybe a little white. just to kind of talk about this little edge here. I'm just finishing that flower by finding those little petals. So it just creates definition there. Or maybe it didn't have perfect definition a second ago. I get a little more Quinn. Sometimes I'll look and go, if it's real dark, maybe what it needs is a little light next to it. Or if it's really light, maybe what it needs is a little bit of dark in it. Like I'm going to take some dark to the center of this. And I'll darken that up and maybe go into this little red here. And I found the rose in that. I don't know where you are, John.
Oh, I was right where you were.
I know, but I moved the surface. So that's looking pretty good. Those look good, right?
Yeah.
But what we can also do is we can take that green we had from earlier and quite a lot of our yellow, get to that bright green, get into that white if you'll remember. And let's find some places to tuck in some greenery. And I'll turn my surface. You can turn your canvas. Don't ever forget that you can turn your canvas.
We're going to watch from the top right now.
Yeah. I'm going to just tuck in little leaves. You can get other greens into it. What you're looking to do, look, I added a little bit of phthalo green and that popped right there, is to just fill it in. This sometimes is like what's missing. If you have an awkward spot here, right, where I think that that's real awkward, I'm going to come here and I'm going to use this and kind of imply that there's leaves there. And it separates that flower.
Show me where you're at. Which one?
Right here. So what I did was I felt like that pink there was awkward, so I added some brighter green.
Ah.
Anywhere that you feel things are awkward, you can just come in and be like, oh, hey. Like here, this could maybe use a little bit of a back stem. You just fill in where it needs a little extra love. Little yellow here. I can always come in with like deep green and it will have some impact, right? But I can wait till this moment to detail that out. And so I can get a really nice little bouquet going with some nice value, as you can see.
Yeah.
And it's really about, this trick is trusting yourself and letting go of your preconceptions of what you should be doing when you paint a flower.
Now, I had a question about the cow.
Okay.
If you were wanting to add some sass to your cow,
It's a pretty sassy cow.
Could you flick a tail up behind there?
No, don't do that.
Don't do the
that
tail.
Would be good design.
It would be bad.
I think you could maybe have petals dropping off and floating off the canvas if you wanted to tell a story. I think you could maybe tuck little flowers. Like if I wanted to tuck in a little pink here, between these leaves.
Oh, to accentuate the floweriness.
Right.
Oh,
See, that can go out there and that's okay. So you can do little things if you want to, and you could have little petals going off the surface. Like that could be kind of nice, but I like the cleanness of this right here. It is
very nice, yeah.
It's really up to you. This is going in your home, or maybe it's a gift, or, however you came to this. This is your cow.
I like we do a lot of cows.
We do cows. This is another fantastic, amazing, I love him cow.
I like the cow.
I do too. So I'm going to come here. I don't normally sign in bright colors, but because we have some beautiful bright colors on him, I'll go ahead and sign over here in one of my bright colors.
It'll be complementary to this.
But I'm not going to make the signature so big that it becomes the whole painting.
See, that looks really neat.
This is a #1 monogram liner. We don't always list them in the materials. It's just what I like to sign with, but they are nice brushes to have around. Guys, look at what we did today. He's so pretty.
Yes.
You've got to feel so proud. I hope everything we're doing is really helping you do this. Remember, you've got those resources in the links below. Hopefully, the mods were able to help you get your questions during the live chat.
It's
Um,
moveless.
it remember these mini books that we talk about. Those are amazing resources because that step by step written out explanation, seeing it written as you're following the video, seeing the step photo, having that still moment and that in motion moment, that can be what brings it all together for you. And we do that work because it makes such a big difference in your result. I think we get more completed paintings than anybody out there. And I think we do that because we give you guys the resources. And all anybody ever needs is a little bit of help. You can do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They can do a lot. All right. It was amazing. Hopefully this video will let you know what's next. Be sure and check the website calendar. We've got classes going on all the time. A reminder that we're doing drawing over on the patronage. If you'd like to join the Art Sherpa patronage, you can find that on the website. If you join through YouTube, they don't have a lot of price options, but my website has price options, but you get everything no matter where you join. And you can come and draw. That class is that's gonna go on for a while. Drawing's gonna happen for a minute.
Drawing happens.
Come and join one of the study days. You know, when we're doing art study on the channel, they're longer paints, but you learn a lot about something. It's kind of a new questing thing that we're doing. So if you're wanting to like get better at a particular skill, I'm going to show you the secrets of that, which is it's not that much of a secret. It's a lot of work. It's just working at it. It's studying the subject. But I promise you, studying art is not like studying math or any other subject in school. It's fun and it's amazing and you're never tired to do it. There's a sister painting of this coming with a chicken.
Chicken?
So keep an eye out of that. And there,
Cow
I
and
might,
chicken?
I don't know how many animals on the farm that I'm going to do. For sure, you're going to get a cow and a chicken. Could you
Cow
get a
and
sheep
chicken.
and a pig? It could happen.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Cow and chicken are friends.
Cow
They're
and
partners.
chicken are friends, right? So, and I felt like they kind of would go together. So,
Crazy chicken.
I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support of the channel. Thank you so much for your support on Facebook. If you watch on YouTube or whether you watch on Facebook, your support matters a lot and we really appreciate it. Guys, be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And I want to see you at an easel really soon. Bye-bye.